Greetings. This is the PowerPoint presentation of OS Molefe and HK Muradima, and we have chosen violence in schools as our societal issue. First, as our introduction, we defined Belief Museum. The Belief Museum is a cultural establishment committed to raising public awareness and providing education on significant societal concerns. It provides a forum for generating discussion, increasing understanding, and motivating action in the direction of constructive social change. The Belief Museum's mission is to empower people by disseminating information, promoting empathy, and instilling a sense of accountability for creating a culture that values compassion. Secondly, we are discussing violence in schools, and with definition we said, violence in schools is one of the societal issues that affect the ethics of care education. And violence in schools simply refers to behavior that takes place between a school premise with the intention or result of causing injury between teachers, learners, staff members, and other additional members of a school. The various worldviews have an impact in preventing violence in schools. Integrative worldview is based on understanding, empathy, and the necessary measures for conflict strategies. Traditional worldview is based on aspects such as morality. Integrative worldview has a highlight on strategies on how to decrease the chances of violent incidents. And then the following are the examples of violence in schools. First of all, we have corporal punishment, which is mostly performed by teachers to learners. Corporal punishment refers to the act of punishing a learner in a physical manner or emotionally. Corporal punishment can be done in many forms, such as making the learner exercise, pinching or clapping the learner, throwing an object to a learner. Like when a teacher throws a board duster to the learner because the learner was being destructive, it's considered as corporal punishment. Secondly, we have bullying or intimidation. Secondly, we have bullying or intimidation. Bullying refers to an aggressive behavior that includes intimidation, threats, and emotional factors. Bullying is not in a physical manner only. It can be emotionally, physically, mentally, or socially. We have teasing, gossiping, raising fists, or any kind of facial expressions as the form of bullying. Thirdly, we have abuse, which refers to any form of harm that is associated with pain or that may cause one to have less self-esteem. Abuse includes the following examples. Sexual abuse, for example, when a teacher sexually abuses a learner, maybe we'll say we have a male teacher who asks female learners to sleep with him in order to get good grades. Or it could be a female teacher asking male learners to sleep with him or to sleep with her in exchange of good grades. And then we have deliberately mistreating a person, such as discrimination. Financial abuse, for example, if we have one learner in a class who comes from a poor background, and then the teacher knows about the background of the learner and they make bad examples about the background of the learner. And then we have neglection, psychological abuse. And then we know that there are factors that may lead to violence in schools, which may be drug and alcohol abuse, such as marijuana, cigarettes, and drugs, an increase in the school population or overcrowding, peer pressure from society and peers, lack of school resources or infrastructure, type of neighborhood at home and environment. With peer pressure from society and peers, you would find that one learner is trying to impress a group of friends or is trying to fit in by dragging down the other person. And this is how violence in schools affect education in the context of ethics for care in education. Violence in schools has an impact in various parties, including the teachers, learners, staff committee, parents, and additional members of the school. Violence in schools can have a great impact on the concentration of learners due to witnessing traumatic events. This can lead this can result in poor performance and limit the chances of excellence in a school. And then thirdly, violence in schools can hinder the relationship teachers have with learners. Lastly, violence in schools can result in learners developing insomnia, injuries, and hospitalization. On our last slide, we'll be talking about the ways to reduce violence in schools. Firstly, the school must establish rules followed by consequences that will be applied to learners that partake in violence. For example, if you find out that one learner is abusing the others, you may suspend the learner or come to some sort of agreement with the other teachers as a punishment. And then secondly, the neighborhood must work collectively to reduce and guide learners that are part of a gang group and partake in substances. Thirdly, the school can provide counseling and support for learners and teachers that have witnessed and experienced violence, since it causes trauma to learners and teachers. And then the school can increase security within the school premise. Lastly, the school can involve parents to communicate with the school should there be external factors that triggers the learner to have a change of behavior, such as grief, mental health, and abuse from home. Thank you.